When you get busted for narcotics in Arlington or this area, the second place you see, right after the inside of a squad car, is this door, the door to the jail office. Just inside, down the hall and down some stairs, is an assembly line type affair, a place where they plan to process in up to 100 people from a narcotics raid to be made tonight in Arlington. And it may come off yet. It won't be until after this newscast, probably. There have been a number of narcotics agents out since 6 o'clock this afternoon, but the word has also been out since 6 o'clock this afternoon. Tarrant County District Attorney Doug Crouch called newsmen and gave them press releases saying that the narcotics raid was going to be made. This is the way he put it.
Every one of these indictments are against repetitious, and there are multiple sales. They're pushers who are in the business of peddling dangerous drugs and narcotics. The indictments number 92. At this time, arrests are being made by Sheriff Lon Evans, the state narcotics agents, the Arlington Police Department, and other law enforcement agencies.
A total of 92 warrants were issued. They hope to pick up at least 50 people, possibly considerably more than that. There have been big meetings of undercover agents and unmarked cars in an area between the Arlington Police Department and the city of Fort Worth. From there, they fanned out on the second of the series of raids of the night. I've talked to a number of high-ranking police officials tonight about the announcement at 6 o'clock today that this was going to happen. Nobody seems to want to take specific issue with it, but many times tonight I've heard the expression, well, I've been at it a long time, and I've never seen anything done just like this before. Jerry Taft, Channel 8 News on the Move at the Arlington Police Department.
The proposals were outlined by Charles Meeks on behalf of the Dallas Association of Small Businessmen, the group which led the successful fight against the interim sign ordinance. Meeks proposed that the city maintain the status quo until a new ordinance can be prepared, that compliance be voluntary, and when a new ordinance is written, that comments and suggestions be solicited before the ordinance is reported out of the committee. Meeks later told Channel 8 News that the idea of voluntary compliance is the key to a workable sign ordinance in Dallas.
I believe that we can have a workable sign policy in Dallas if we will develop means of voluntary compliance, because I believe that the city government is so limited in what it can legally do constitutionally that only a voluntary system of beautification is possible.
As for the three proposals presented by Meeks to the Sign Advisory Committee, no action was taken on them. According to a committee spokesman, the presentation by Meeks was simply one of the steps in educating the committee on how it can draw up a workable sign ordinance for Dallas. An educational process, the spokesman said, which will require months, not weeks. Jack Hill, Channel 8 News on the Move.
Anderson proposed that the commissioners rescind their vote on car allowances and completely revamp the system. That brought the wrath of Commissioners Skeet Richardson and Dick Lewis down on Anderson. Both call Anderson's proposal strictly a political move. Anderson is up for re-election along with Lewis this year. Richardson said he was tired of seeing Anderson on television, making pitches in the name of the court. Anderson walked out at that time, saying Richardson was only mad because he had been upstaged. Commissioner Richardson said if the court is going to reconsider the car allowance system, it should not come until a study is completed. The Little Red Pump and the car allowance system have been hot issues since budget hearings began late last year. Commissioner Lewis said bringing the matter up again at this time is silly. The Little Red Pump, as it's called, but it's actually white, has been used by people who shouldn't, according to commissioners. Even private campers and boats have been seen filling up with county gasoline. The battle of words between commissioners ended today with a comment by Commissioner Richardson. He said, "No wonder people think we're fools up here. Come every election year, we act like fools." I asked him what was accomplished by the arguments and accusations today. He said nothing. Jim Green, Channel 8 News on the Move in Fort Worth.
This annual convention of the Texas Classroom Teachers Association closely resembles a constitutional convention. And the same issue that faced the old 13 colonies in Philadelphia is the main theme here, too. It's unification. Texas is one of 10 states that is still splintered into numerous teachers' organizations that haven't unified yet with a national education association. The NEA has proposed a national constitution that calls for unification of all local and state teachers' associations under one head, the NEA. Texas classroom teachers are holding hearings on that constitution today. I talked to John Saltania, an executive board member of Dallas Classroom Teachers, and I asked him what kind of power teachers hope to gain by banding together on a national level.
On the national level, teachers hope to have to face the crisis that public education will face. Certainly, we want to get more involved in the political aspect of the politics in Washington. We want to get more, have a say-so in concerning working conditions, wages, and so forth. Teachers need to decide this for themselves, because when politicians or some administrators decide for us, they really don't do it adequately.
Is the TCTA going to become an independent organization, or is it going to join the Texas State Teachers Association?
Well, this is a big issue at this convention. They have the option of becoming an independent organization, which means that they're strictly on their own, and the future must be decided by them. This is the issue that must be decided at this convention tomorrow.
So the 1,200 Texas delegates attending this convention face a number of controversial questions. Do Texas teachers want to unify with the teachers in the 49 other states so teachers can have an important voice on such issues as teachers' salaries and desegregation? And a question that hits closest to home. Does the TCA want to affiliate with a larger and more powerful Texas Teachers Association, or risk a very uncertain future? They have until tomorrow to decide that question. Martha McIntyre, Channel 8 News on the Move.
I really think that we will make the playoffs. A lot of people might be counting us out, but when you stop and look at the points in hand that we have, or games in hand rather, we have 4 games in hand on Omaha, and we're 11 points back, and we have 2 games in hand of Kansas City and Oklahoma City, and we're 10 points back of them, so conceivably we could be 3 and 6 points back, and we have to play all 3 clubs a considerable amount of times, once in each one of their towns, and then 2 or 3 times in our town, so I really feel that our club is coming on real strong, and we'll do a tremendous job the latter stages of the year. Go back to last season, we had a tremendous push over the last half, and the club came on strong and was in second place right up until the last game of the season, and was nosed out by 1 point by Dallas. And the way our club has been playing in the last couple of weeks, I really feel confident, and I know that the players feel confident that they can do the job for us, and we'll be in the playoffs. I feel quite confident about the whole thing.
Well, we have 6, 7 fellows that we play quite a bit. Have a guard named Dwight Carrington. He's small, but he does a tremendous job. And Alcee Jackson at forward. And then we have Norvell Miles, another guard. And Roy Banks and Willie Hicks are the 5 probable starters. Then James Thompson, a 6'4½", he plays for us, and he did a real good job against Roosevelt first time around. In fact, he was the leading scorer for us.
Do you fellas rip and run a great deal?
Well, we like to get the ball down the floor and score quick if we can. If we can't, we'll sit up and run an offense.
Would you say that your 69-66 victory over Roosevelt to date has been the highlight of your season? Was it your best game?
Well, in district, yes, it was our best game.
What are your thoughts on stopping Ira Terrell? While you will not be involved with him directly, you'll be out and he'll be in under the post. You think you can contain him this time?
Yeah, we're going to play a sagging defense on him and sort of let the guard shoot outside and hope to get the rebound, but I think we'll contain him.
What's your favorite type of game? The rip and run?
Yeah, running. Rip and running.
Where do you like to shoot from?
Wherever I can. It's sort of hard to shoot. They be playing on me pretty hard. I have to shoot wherever I can. Don't make me any different.
What type of a game was that 69-66 last game between you and South Oak Cliff?
It was a good, aggressive game. They have a type of grudge, both teams in Oak Cliff. We went to Houston together to play, and we'd seen each other play a lot. We knew exactly what we were going to try to do, and so they just out-hustled us a little bit that time. So we hope we can change it around this time.
Will it be mostly a run and shoot game tomorrow night?
Well, I don't know. Coach Stephen has a control team, and he do both. So we're trying to prepare for both, the run game and the control game.
You think they will sag on you a little bit?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they would. I mean, I'm mostly leading the team, I guess, and I guess if they feel they can stop me, they might can stop our whole team. But I'm looking for them to sag back, you know, and try to stop me.
What has been your average point per game?
I guess it's about 30 points. I'm not sure. It's somewhere right in that area, 30 points a game.
At the Wilshire Elementary School in Euless, the Zoof is here. See, the kids at Wilshire Elementary have volunteered to go out and raise money to help keep the Fort Worth Zoo a free zoo. In other words, no gate charge, no admission to the zoo. The kids, especially first graders, seem to be intrigued with the Zoof. Hey, what do you think of the Zoof?
Fun.
It's what?
Fun.
Is the Zoof an endangered species?
No.
Oh, how about you? What do you think of the zoo?
Well, it's all right.
It's all right.
Well, it's fun.
Oh, okay.
I have so many fans, and I have to be so many places. Yeah, I've lost one in a turnstile once. That was the most serious loss.
But nothing major, no injuries to your person.
Just an awful lot of love.
I don't believe in zoos.
You don't believe in zoo?
No.
Ah, the innocence of childhood. For Channel 8 News on the Move, I'm Jay Lewis at the Wilshire Elementary School in Euless.
Form of the human species is the pusher, and my office will expend every effort to remove them from Tarrant County.
Mr. Krause, when you say that Sheriff Evans and other narcotics officers are making arrests now, are they actually in the act of making raids at this time?
At this time, as of 6 o'clock this afternoon.
As it is?
Well, I think originally it started that way. I have a very concrete evidence to establish that.
Do you really think that there are some groups, though, that are promoting this, that are trying to perpetuate this case?
I think there are 2, possibly 3 individuals.
Could you name them?
No, sir. Not at this time. They'll be named in time.
And what is your thinking now as we head toward a court trial in the case of Mr. McKee?
Well, I think that when the facts come out, I think Mr. McKee will be vindicated. As you probably know, as revealed in the press, there are 2 checks involved, neither one of which was payable to him. Mr. McKee didn't get a penny of this money that he allegedly embezzled, and all of it has been repaid, and no person or individual has lost a penny, and all of this was repaid prior to the time these indictments were returned.
You may think a teachers' convention is full of textbook talk and curriculum problems, but this convention of the Texas Classroom Teachers Association is developing a hearty interest in politics. 32 of the delegates here have organized the first statewide political action committee, and all 1,200 delegates voted today to back up these kinds of groups on the local, state, and national level. The Texas group is called TPAC, and I asked its new chairman, Robert Franzetti, if this signals the beginning of teacher power in the state.
Well, no, I believe teachers in Texas have long exercised a degree of political power in Texas and throughout this nation, but I believe it's the first time that on a state level we have attempted to organize that power to influence the electorate in the choice of candidates for public office.
How many voters do you think you can influence?
Oh, I think 300,000 to 400,000 people would be a realistic figure.
Have you got any idea right now which candidates you all intend to endorse?
No, we decided this weekend that we would begin screening candidates on March the 4th in Austin, and after we have screened candidates at for the governor's race, the lieutenant governor's race, the United States Senate race, that we would make determinations for endorsing candidates after that time.
Do you think that these candidates are going to begin to make political pitches to your group?
They already have.
Which ones?
I'd rather not say right now, frankly, but we have talked to at least 3 candidates for lieutenant governor already.
So it looks like candidates for state and local offices ought to take a hard look at themselves and decide if they are indeed friends of education. Being a friend this year in the election could make a significant difference. Martha McIntyre, Channel 8 News on the Move at the TCTA convention.
The primary problem is seemingly that percentage of dropouts that we do have, and this is fact now, it's not seemingly, it's a fact of 52.7 in Texas. And we're here today to check and see what we can do about this dropout rate, which is comparatively higher than the Anglo and black dropout rate.
No, he played very well. He hit the first couple of shots great, and then he started knocking down mountains. And with Sinatra, who doesn't play too much anyway, it was a real colorful game. And Agnew, of course, I'm proud of because he made golf a contact sport, and I'm very, very proud of his free swing. He really is a free swing. And the only thing, he hates to hook because he hates anything on the left. And then he's really played well.
Mr. McKee didn't have much to say. He was under a terrific mental strain as well as a physical strain, and he's been under a strain now, of course, for the last several days. It took about 30 minutes, but when he came out, he was visibly shaken.
Did he make any personal comment to you about all this?
No, he didn't, except that I thought he ought to rest, and I tried to get him to sit down and rest when he first came out of there, because he said his left arm was numb, and I could tell that he was under a terrific mental strain, and he said, "I just want to get out of here."
Do you really think that all this is because someone is out to get Mr. McKee, that someone is trying to frame him?
The most interesting experience that I had was going to the opera, and the title of the opera was The White-Haired Girl, and it was simply fantastic. But like in China, it depicts a political theme, and what you actually see is the Chinese warlord, and it shows the nationalist China, what we recognize as national China, and then it shows the red Chinese and the overthrow of the warlord, and at the end everything is okay.
Could you describe what Shanghai looked like?
Well, there was masses of people, and most transportation was bicycles, what impressed me.
Well, there was a discussion recently of the fact that it's probably necessary to have all large buildings in the future self-ventilating, so that in the event of an energy cutoff, you'll still have breathing air inside the buildings. In the case of the blackout in the city of New York, for instance, many people were stumbling around in the dark and having to walk down through many floors without elevators, but it's conceivable that one could be caught in a building that normally is requiring a forced draft of air to provide breathing air. If the energy is cut off, that person might not only be stumbling in the dark and having to walk down many floors, but might actually suffocate before he got out of the building.
My oldest, I have two sons in the group, and the older son was hooked on drugs, high school dropout, ran away from home numerous times. We did everything that money could buy. We hospitalized him, psychiatric help, everything that money could buy. Nothing worked. And finally, after all else failed, Richard left home. And this was about 3 years ago, and he met the children of God when they were first getting formed. And he found Christ. He was saved.
I have lost 46 pounds during my time when I was reducing, and I'm very pleased that I'm keeping it up for about 3 years now, thanks to this program. And I would like to play now a little song by the name of She's Too Fat for Me.
To move mine up. And then another thing, you go out and get kidnapped or held hostage. Back in October when the Ted Walters came into my home and held my family hostage, the Texas Ranger that shot Mr. Walters, I told that I owed my life and my family's life to him. When he saw my before picture, he told me that I really didn't owe my life to him. I owed my life to Weight Watchers, because had it not been that I had gone to Weight Watchers and lost this weight, he wouldn't have been able to shoot around me and hit Ted Walters.
What was it like to be some of the first Americans in China, admitted to China within the past 20 years?
Well, we felt a great privilege, and the people were so nice to us from all the time from the beginning that we got there till we left.
Did you find the people to be friendly toward you as an American?
Very friendly.
What was the people's interest over there in the president's trip?
They are actually waiting for the president's arrival. They certainly are. There's no doubt about it.